Kia ora guys, Danny Wilson here. Got episode number 6 of Book of Jams, and my special guest today is a good friend, Taylor John. Hails all the way from North Canterbury, Waikuku Beach. Kaiapoi.
Yeah.
Also qualified primary school teacher. Also has his own surf school here on the Gold Coast. And obviously a lover of surfing. So, Tay, cheers for coming, brother.
Hey, bro. Cheers for having me. Yeah.
Good to have
Awesome.
my fellow
Cheers.
Kiwi friend.
Cheers, bro.
Kind of become a bit of a habit now. Bloody
Having a beer?
having a beer and the podcast. So not a bad spot. Where are we today, Tay?
We are down at Snapper Rocks, so one of the best waves on the planet. Everyone's heard of Snapper if you're a surfer. Non-surfers, that's Snapper right there. So yeah, we're in a pretty primo spot. One of the reasons I came to this country, so yeah, we're in the zone. Yeah.
Nice, bro. Hold on, I'm just going to put the speaker behind us.
Yeah. Is it a bit loud?
Nah, it's good. As long as we can hear it.
Yeah.
These guys aren't going to really hear it.
Sweet.
Yeah, bro, well, might as well cut to the chase. So tell us a little bit of your upbringing.
My upbringing, okay, yeah. I was born and raised North Canterbury, Christchurch. Grew up in a small little beach village, population not many, Pines Beach.
Not many, if any.
Not many, if any. Yeah,
Scribble.
so yeah. Grew up in Pines Beach until I was about 9 or 10 years old. Literally, you'd open the back gate and you were on the beach, and it's, as you know it. So there's no one around. It's quiet. It's beautiful. Get every wave you want. Not like this spot here, but yeah, lived there until I was 10, and then we moved into Kaiapoi, and I lived there until the earthquake happened, and that destroyed my parents' house. We had an earthquake in Christchurch in 2010, so their house was gone, and then after that we moved out to Waikuku, which is where you also lived at the time. Yeah.
I didn't realise. I thought you guys lived in Waikuku for way longer.
Nah, I didn't move to Waikuku until I was, I think I just turned 18. So I spent a lot of time out in Waikuku, like as a grommet, like surfing, but, and the dream was always like, I wish I lived here. And then circumstances from the earth eventually put us there.
For those of you that don't know, Waikuku is where quite a few of the boys are from, like myself, Tay, and magic little town. I suppose back home it's probably one of the coolest spots in the Christchurch kind of area where we're from, Canterbury.
What do you reckon, there's like 200 people that live there max? 150?
Yeah, something like that, and you know, small town.
There's more people surfing this wave every day, each morning, than there is in that whole community. So
always have a pretty special place in my heart, Waikuku. So
yeah, so that was my childhood. Pines Beach, Kaiapoi. Went to school in Kaiapoi. Went to high school in town, Shirley Boys, and then would commute from the country out to Christchurch every day and back. And then, after the earthquake, everything just became Waikuku based. And my dad was a surfer, so he just threw me in the water, and that was that.
Well, John McNeill. Tay John's
you'll be watching, I'm sure.
Bit of a legend surfer from back home, eh?
Yeah,
He's kind of big part of probably the culture, of the North Canterbury board riders.
For
back
sure,
in the days,
he was telling me, like out in the bar and stuff back on the day, it was like, he said the first leg rope he ever saw, I think it was Larry Kemp, Tom Kemp's old man. He actually taught my dad. He was my dad's primary school teacher, Larry Kemp, Tom's old man. And Larry paddled out.
Larry seems so much younger.
Yeah, I think he must be. Got that. Well, he taught my dad. My dad's just turned 60, so.
Shout out Larry then.
Yeah, Larry had a dog collar attached to he drilled a hole in his board and a string and put a dog collar, and then made his own Velcro leash. And my dad was like, "What's that?" And Larry was like, "It's called a leg rope." So I think the story was something like that. Yeah. But that was where we grew up, and you know it well.
Yeah.
So it was a good spot to grow up because it was small. It's uncrowded waves. It's not world class, and it's cold as hell. But it was a good place. We didn't know any better, man. It was like we had uncrowded waves every day, and it was awesome. Good place to be a kid and roam the forest. This is before the internet really took over and that. So I think we were the last generation of people to not grow up with like phones and iPads, and we were still out in the forest, building huts and going surfing all day. Rain, hail, snow, didn't really matter. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's crazy, bro. So when for your actual surfing journey, obviously you've been doing it from from a very young age.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of taken you a few places, isn't it? Like surfing. Like,
Yeah, I think I started surfing, like I don't remember learning, which is funny now when I coach people because they always ask me how long have you surfed, and I'm like, I just like kind of, that's all I knew. I don't even know, like maybe my dad could tell me, but I think Gore Bay in the summer times, like my grandparents had a batch up there, which you may have even gone to back in the day,
Maybe.
but by the campground, and I think over those summers, like late 90s, just as a grom, Dad was pushing me in whitewash, and I remember he was always like, you just got to go out the back, and I was like, no way am I going out there, man, like no way. So I was just in the whitewash for like years. I had a massive fear of big waves for so long, and yeah, for me, probably 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6, and then I probably started taking it like seriously and going out all the time when I was like probably 8 or 9, because winters at home's too cold.
oh
Like,
yeah.
the kids here in the winter are like, I'm so cold, and I'm like, you got no idea. Like, you got no. We were wearing 2 wetsuits, you know, and
What's
booties.
the coldest it gets home?
The water gets down to probably about 7 degrees.
Yeah, I
reckon,
thought I was going to say
Celsius.
8, but
yeah, 7 or 8. The Waimak and all those rivers probably get down even colder.
Yeah,
because it's just straight from the snow. Like, I've paddled across there without gloves on, and it just feels like needles going through. You would have, like.
Yeah.
It's cold, and we get snowed down to sea level. Like, there's photos of me standing on the beach in the snow with my board. Like, and I say to the kids here, I'm like, this is proper cold. Like, you go outside and your wetsuit's frozen to the fence. Like, you're peeling it off the fence. Like.
So we're from the South Island. So if you were going to tell people right now they've never been to, say, New Zealand or South Island, and if for example I said there's 3 spots you have to surf in the South Island, what would be those 3 spots?
I reckon there's a few I won't name because
What is all this service? Like Spot X and all this
Spot X, YZ.
I was chatting to someone last night about this.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways.
Nah,
there's plenty of there's a lot of good ways if you know where to go and you know who to know.
But okay, well, just off the bat, like, what are the 3 main, 3 good breaks?
3 good breaks that I would go and surf right now would be, I love Mongamanu and Kaikoura. Everyone knows where that is. It's not a secret. Sorry, kikes boys, but
right point break.
But it's a great right hand. Everyone knows it's got a train track next to it. It's kind of like a burley almost, but it's cold. The snow mountains are right there. So Mongas would be one. Another wave that one that's close to me, like in my heart, is probably just Gore Bay. It's not the best wave in the South Island, but I don't know.
There's always a wave.
There's always a wave. It was like our kind of D-bar.
True.
It was an hour. It was an hour's drive, but there was always a wave.
True.
So Gore Bay is one. And
how good's Port Robbie on a good day?
When it breaks, it's good.
When it breaks. Not very
once
quite
every
rare.
5 years.
5 years.
I surfed for 25 years, and I've surfed it 3 times, I think. So
I think I'm about the same, but I have had some good waves.
But it does happen. But yeah, probably Mongas, Gore Bay, and like if you've got the Catlins, you know, somewhere like Porpoise Bay or somewhere.
I was waiting for that.
Or PK Bay. Yeah, I'd say Kaikoura, Gore Bay, and the Catlins.
Yeah.
There's so many good waves down there. Again, it's all cold, but there's a lot of good waves if you've got time and you know the right people and you can read the forecasts.
So a lot of these places you were going, you were part of a board riders club, hey?
Yep.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that board riders club?
Yep. So I was, and hopefully maybe still am, a member of Northside Board Riders, which was the north side of the Waimak mouth. So anyone from the south side, we call them townies. They were from Christchurch City, so they were city folk, you know. And where we live always gets a bit more swell. And so they would always come up on the weekends, and we'd have it all week to ourselves, you know, the bar and other waves. And we'd be like, oh no, the townies are here. But Northside was actually started before I was born, like late 80s, maybe 1990, by my dad, John, and a few other local guys at the time, and they were probably like in their 20s at the time. And
like Lewis?
I don't even think. Dad didn't know Lou then. I think some of the early guys actually in it were like Dave Lyons from Kaikoura,
Dave Lyons,
but Dave was like a teenager. So maybe like Bob, all those guys, but again, they were like kind of groms, and so sort of my dad's generation that started it, and then I think kind of they all had kids, you know, they grew up, had kids, and the club kind of folded, and then when the kids all grew up and started surfing, they like reconnected, and that was when like Lewis and Dad and I think Matt Burns and that crew Gus and all that, they got the club back together.
Yeah.
And it was great for all of us kids because we were all coming up doing comps. And yeah, it was amazing. We had a board riders club right on the beach, and they would come down and say they were doing surf comps, but they were just drinking beers and weren't even watching us. And we'd come in, they'd say, oh, he won. And we're like, he didn't even catch a fucking wave. How did he win? And that'd all be half cut by then. But yeah, the board riders was great. We actually, within like the first 2 or 3 years of being a reformed club, we won the South Island title. So there's like 5 comps during the year. And if you get good placings, your club gets points. And I think like 3 years after rebanding, we won the South Island title as a club. And we never won it again, but that was pretty cool.
See, surfing, like when you think at competition and that, it must be such a hard one to judge at times, eh? Especially, I suppose, in the more the amateur kind of, like, you know, competitions.
Yeah, it is. I think competing, I just don't think I was very good at it. Like I said, when I was younger, I had like a real fear of bigger waves, and all my mates didn't. And so I think I would kind of freak myself out before the comp even started because I'd be on like, it wasn't even Surfline back then. It was like you're using a weather forecast with like lows and highs, and I would go, oh my God, it's going to be 4 to 5 foot. And before I'd even paddled out, I'd lost, you know, like, but yeah, it is hard. Like I've judged some comps and I don't know, like I won't really get started on what I think of judging and stuff, but I think
very
you can watch the
times,
WSL, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very blatant that the wrong scores are getting put out there, or that there's like, I don't know if it's favoritism, but sometimes you just blatantly see that it's not right.
Yeah.
Like
because it must be hard to judge like scoring like just someone's technique. You know, sometimes some people just look really smooth and, you know, the judging wise for that.
I know for a fact I've like stood behind the scenes at comps and heard people say things like, I'll just use my own name for example, but it might be conditions where the conditions are just tricky, and then you do like for what you've got in front of you, like out here right now it's 1 foot, 2 foot onshore, and you surf that wave to your best ability to the conditions, and then the judges are like, oh, well, he can actually surf better than that, so they kind of downplay your score, and it's not so much to the conditions. And that's not every comp, that's not every judge, like but I don't know, I just kind of never connected with competing. I won a few comps and I did well, and I had sponsors for a little bit, but it just wasn't really me, eh? And I could see how hungry people like Cody and Sam and that were, and like guys like Hugh Ritchie from Brighton and that, they all just wanted to win so bad.
I mean, it's once you
I was like, in the end, I was like, I don't even care. Like,
I mean, when you get to the elite level of like people in whatever sport they're doing, I mean, you know, a very gifted, talented crew, eh? You know?
100%. And I think competing is a great thing for kids coming up, because you obviously, if you're not the best surfer, you get put against the best people, so it makes you surf better, like lower seeds, higher seeds versus each other. But in the end, man, I just wanted to go surfing and just like surf good waves and overcome my fear of like bigger waves. You know, for me it was like everyone would go, oh, Taylor would have won if he could have got out the back, or I'd go and free surf down the beach and surf real good.
Here's old John McNeill going to the judges, oi, my boy deserved to be
No, it was me, man. Like, it was me going up and telling them, like, my dad couldn't even watch my heats. Like, I'd paddle out and my dad would go hide in a room and couldn't watch. Like, I remember in Dunedin once.
Shout out John, boy.
I got a double interference once, which is when you get, like, I got one interference and I got another interference, and I had to paddle in and leave the water during my heat. Like, I had to get out. And so I was winning the heat, and my dad was like, yep. And then I think you could hear it from the speaker from the hotel. And then my sister ran up and was like, Taylor got a double interference, like he's disqualified. I came in, I smashed my board around a pole, told the judges what I thought of them, and hopped in the car and drove back from St Clair to Christchurch. Like, so yeah, competing wasn't for me, but it definitely, what it did do is it made me so many connections.
Yeah, true.
Because we were going to Greymouth, Westport, Dunedin, Kaikoura. Yeah. Then I was doing like Canterbury team trips to the North Island, and I pretty much met all the people I know now around New Zealand.
What blows me away is like,
competing.
Like the time I've lived here, bro, the amount of people I've met, like that your guys' mates or people you've met through surfing, it's crazy. Who come over from New Zealand and come, like, maybe come to Snapper or come surf here for a week or two, or we go have a few beers with them. And it's amazing how many friendships you guys have got from surfing.
We had so many
throughout
like,
all of New Zealand, eh?
Yeah, when we were like 15, we'd go on school holidays, and my parents would put me on a bus down to Dunedin,
Yeah.
and I'd go and stay with the boys there, and that was the best thing about it for me.
Yeah.
I was like, screw the comp. Like, I get to hang out with my mates, and as you got older, there was an after party, and I was like, I'll just throw my heat and just go to the after party. But
That sounds like something like Rowan would do, eh?
Yeah, well, I think Ryan.
Didn't Rowan do that one year?
Yeah, Ryan Morris. He was one of like my kind of inspirations, I guess, as a kid. It was real hard to buy small surfboards in Christchurch at the time, like early 2000s. And Rowan somehow was getting like JRs and maybe even JSs from Newcastle or from Oz. And so when he was done with his boards, I'd buy them off him, like 5.0s and 4.11s and stuff that you just couldn't buy in New Zealand back then, really, or in the South Island. But yeah, Ro, I think he was another one, like really good surfer, but you put him in a heat, and I think he's just so relaxed that he didn't have the animal, like, he'd do air reverses around the comp site and then go out in his heat and just sit there, and it was like, what are you doing, Ro? Like, whereas
he's a talented
some
man.
people are built for it, man. They are, and But yeah, Rowan, he was a big inspiration for a lot of us in Waikuku, and like Cotton, all those guys that were like 5 years older. Because we didn't have pro surfers where we grew up.
No.
It wasn't Snapper where you're 5 years old and you're paddling out with Mick and Joel and Ockie. We didn't have that. We just, we had our local crew.
Yeah.
And to us, those guys were our Ockies and Joels. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, so tell us a little bit, you're qualified primary school teacher.
Yeah.
I heard you were teaching for 1 year, like full time.
Yeah.
Tell us about that 1 year experience, because I hear it was a kind of few pros and cons.
Yeah,
for like quite challenging and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think it was to do with my mindset. Maybe
pretty
at
young
the time
though,
too.
too.
Yeah, like I went to uni, got my degree, and as soon as I got my degree, I was out of there. Eh?
Yeah.
I moved to Europe, went to Ireland, and I spent like 3 years traveling, and then I kind of thought I was done traveling, and had that like pull of home that we all get, and so I just packed up my stuff, moved back to New Zealand, got a job teaching. And kind of halfway through the year, I was like, oh man, when it got to winter, I hadn't done a winter for like 3 or 4 years, and Christchurch winter hit, and I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck here, and it's like 4 degrees, there's no surf. I started going, what have I done? But obviously I stuck it out. It was teaching's great. Like there's so many pros to it, but I was young. I was like 22.
Yeah.
And I think in my head I was like, I just want to like go surfing, and how am I going to make a life out of going surfing as someone who's not a professional surfer? Like,
as you would know, like with teaching, because I'm ex-teacher too, and like I totally understand like how challenging it can be, especially like especially with a lot of the kids you're working with, like a lot of the kids who were quite challenging, eh?
Yeah, I was working
like a lot of diverse backgrounds,
pretty low decile school, like a good school, but there was definitely like, I know in my class there was like 25 kids, I think, and like 15 of them had parents that were separated.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff going on for some of those kids that were like 12, 13 years old. And yeah, I don't know, I just got to a point where I was like, man, I could just be like cruising in Europe, like on a boat somewhere, drinking beers, going surfing, like, and I didn't have a partner or anything, so I had nothing kind of holding me back, and I was like, man, once it gets to December, like, I'm gone, sort of thing, which was a kind of a bad mindset, but I have no doubt I was a good teacher, and like, I know I helped a lot of kids progress, like, with their learning, and I saw that with their results, but deep down inside of me, I was kind of like fighting with myself, like, this isn't really what I want to do. Like, a lot of people told me, you'd make a good teacher, and so I was like, I'll get a teaching degree. And then when I did it, I was like, that's what people told me I'd be good at, but it's not really what I want to like pursue in the long run. Like, I'm not going to do this for 40 years and retire. Like,
I don't know how a lot of teachers have stuck it out for so long, man. Like,
well, they're not these days. A lot of young people aren't. Like, same with nursing and that, that they're not. Like, it's just like the workload's crazy. Like, man, I feel for a lot of those people that are teachers and nurses that when life's busy, those jobs are busy, man. Like, it takes up a lot of your free time.
A teacher that used to teach me, he just retired, and he was there for 50 years, retired after 50 years.
I think a lot of the old school ones hung in, because I saw it, like a lot of the teachers who were like pre-internet, all this modern learning, they just had their ways, man. And they were just like, that's how it is. They didn't even connect to the new school teaching. Whereas when I came in, it was like all these modern learning where like there's like 100 kids in a class and 6 teachers, and it's just chaos, man. Like, I kind of wish I was teaching in like the 70s or the 80s, but these days, man, kids have got everything accessible at their fingers.
Yeah.
They're smarter than you, man. Like, I'd be in the class, I couldn't work out how to use a laptop, and kids would come up, oh, Mr. McNeill, I'll do it for you. Boom, 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 enter, and I was just like, oh yeah, like give it back. Like, I was just testing you, like, you know, like, so like it's definitely going forward. It's going to be interesting to see where being a school teacher goes.
Oh yeah.
It's a great job. It's very satisfying in the right moments. But where I was in my head and my life, I wanted something else out of my life. So yeah, but it may help. If it wasn't for teaching, I probably would have never ended up on the Gold Coast. So yeah, that was how I ended up here. Yeah.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
Moving on to that, you want a bit of beer? So I think the old phone's on repeat, the song.
It is. I can change it, eh?
Oh, it's all good. We'll just stop it. We'll just pause
Like
it.
you've been interviewing all these DJs, man. Like, I'm just Apple Music. Eh?
Apple
Wow, wow,
Music.
wow.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's just a casual podcast.
Yeah. There's no DJ.
Yeah, we'll
Tay.
keep you on
Yeah.
DJ Tay.
There's not. I'll start her up. There we go.
You're all good, bro.
There can be MC Tay after like
MC Tay, yeah.
20 more of these, but
Tay's
DJ.
been known to do a bit of rapping,
I
a bit
have
of
been
freestyling
known
in his
to
time.
do some silly stuff.
Bit of karaoke.
Yeah,
We
karaoke.
might even spit a Dr. Dre beat later.
Yeah, we might. We're gonna need a lot more of these. Nah.
No, okay, bro. So tell us about your Gold Coast time. Like, what was the kind of start of your journey coming to the Gold Coast? Obviously, getting into coaching, and pretty much just about that first part.
Yeah. So kind of like I was like alluding to before with the teaching, like that was how I ended up here. But the coaching started way back, like when I was actually doing my degree. A guy, Ambrose McNeill, no relation to me, but good longboarder from Sumner. He actually lives here now, and he is a secondary school teacher. He was teaching at PBC and that, and I think I was working for Quicksilver, and he just said, have you ever thought of surf coaching, like as a summer job over the uni holidays? And I never had ever assumed that would kind of go any more than that. So Aaron Locke down at Sumner there learned to surf. He was my coach actually as well. So Aaron, you kind of started the whole journey really. Like when I was like 12, 13, he'd take us around New Zealand and that, eh? And so anyways, Aaron was, he was my coach, and he took me on as like a instructor. So I did a couple of summers with him. And then long story short, went to Ireland, was helping another Kiwi bloke run a surf school in Ireland for a while as a head coach. Did 3 years there, 3 or 4 years. And then the Gold Coast was, I was teaching. I applied for a job at Amberley School at the end of that year. Even though my mind was kind of like, get out of here. Being an adult was like, you need an income, you need like stability. I'd moved out of home and I was like flattening that. So I was like, I need an income. Surf coaching wasn't cutting it really. And I applied for this job at Amberley School, and Cody was living here at that point. And he was like, come over to the Goldie, like I've got this mean, the Hill Apartments, which you kind of took over my life in the end a little bit. We'll get to that, but
took over the Holden.
The Holden, my house, everything. But
cleaned up all your mess.
Yeah, pretty
your bomb
much.
clean.
Yeah, true. It was pretty bad in there. Hey? It's not for this podcast, that house. But Amberley, it come down to that, and I was like, if I get the job at the school, I'm going to stay in New Zealand. I'm going to be a teacher, and if I don't get this job, I'm going to move to the Goldie. And that was around Christmas, New Year's period. And the principal there rang and was like, hey, like you didn't get the job. And 4 days later, I moved to Currumbin. I literally hung up, booked flights to the Goldie.
That's
told
pretty cool.
my family I'm leaving. I'm going back overseas. And 4 days later, I was living here with Cody. And that was the start of my Gold Coast journey. There was no plan. I didn't have a job. Nothing lined up. I just had a little bit of savings from teaching, and that was that, man. Yeah.
So who was the first coaching outfit you were working for?
I was working for. I kind of come in with, like I said, no plan, and there's several surf schools here. Yeah. And
so tell us a couple of the surf schools that are here.
Down at the alley, you've got Surfing Services, which is Bianca Richardson. And then down you got Currumbin Alley Surf School, which is Sam Chilcott, and then you got Pat and Anne down at Surf Easy. So I was kind of hanging around there.
Yeah.
Because I was living on the hill at the alley. Like my bedroom window, if you looked out it, you were looking straight down at the alley. And so this was like pre-COVID, rent was cheap. It was like $400 or $200 each a week. And we had a pool, a balcony, and it looked over the alley. And so I was doing a lesson one day for one of those surf schools, and they didn't have much work. And anyway, they just said, oh, this lady Bianca will like, she's looking for workers. And she happened to be sitting like on the grass, doing whatever. And I just walked over and was like, hey, I'm Taylor, I'm from New Zealand, I want to do some coaching. And she was like, oh, I've got pretty much as much work as you want. And that was that, like, just started working for her. And yeah, that was how my life kind of started here, just doing surf lessons at the alley. Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
right. And so moving on to that, like in what, a year ago, you've just started up a new company?
Yeah.
New surf school?
Yeah.
Your own surf school?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, the name.
Yeah, so my business is Gold Coast Surf Experience, this one. So what I noticed, like, I've been doing coaching here for like the last 7 or 8 years, and all the surf schools are like kind of based just on like, you know, you walk out to whitewash waist deep, you push them into whitewash,
Yeah.
you know, and it gets to a point where like the people don't really make any more progression from that.
Yeah.
And not to sound like horrible, but a lot of the coaches that work in surf schools a lot of the time are like foreigners on like a visa.
Yeah.
And they don't actually surf like that well themselves, like, and so they get to a point where they can't actually give you any more
Advice. Yeah.
like that's as far as their
Yeah.
knowledge goes. And so for me, I started doing a few little advanced groups here and there, and I was working
Yeah.
with people doing stuff, and I was kind of noticing that like a lot of the coaches, they didn't really know what to say, what to do. Long story short, I was like, right, there's a big market in like helping people who have gone out of surf lessons, they're off a foamy, or they're progressing from a foamy to a hardboard, and they're starting to go along the face and that, and they're not sure, the technique's all wrong. So I'm just, my thing was like, right, I'm going to go out and get people from that beginner level and hopefully progress through, because I reckon that's where 80% of surfers are at.
Yeah.
10% of surfers are like full-blown beginner in the whitewash.
Yeah.
10%, maybe less, absolutely rip. And there's a huge
Yeah, true.
majority of surfers who are just your everyday surfer who work 9 to 5, and
Yeah.
if the waves are bad when they have time off, they don't get to get out and practice. So yeah, and I try and base all mine on making sure that people are in the right location at the right time, right tides, right winds. And so it's not just like a surf lesson,
Yeah.
you're actually learning about the environment and about the sport like as a whole.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to learn, man. You know it. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be able to read the weather. You got to be able to read the winds, the tides, surf forecasts. You know, it can be really good one minute, bad the next. Like, and just your safeties and your dangers
Yeah.
and the beach environment overall. Like,
So that's kind
there's
of
a
the one.
lot to learn.
Yeah, like,
we're still learning.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. Like for me, the
yeah.
biggest issue would be for me that would kind of wig me out a lot. And even when I was like teaching and stuff, doing a lot of outdoors and stuff, taking kids out into the outdoors, I'd always be a bit nervous because anything can happen out there, eh? Out
Oh
in the
man,
water.
it can
You
go
know,
wrong real fast.
I've had so many things happen over the
Yeah,
years
yeah.
in the water
Yep, we all
where you
have,
just don't
yeah.
expect it. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I've had those experiences. I'm glad like none of the students that I was teaching
Yeah. I've
got
seen
seriously
it,
injured or died.
I've seen it all. Like,
wood, but-
I've
Yeah.
seen everything. Like, I'm
Yeah.
lifeguarding with the council now as a job too. So, like with the city of Gold Coast as a lifeguard. So, like, I'm doing like 40 to 60 hours a week on the beach. So,
Yeah, true.
like, I've seen everything you can possibly fathom, from like someone doing a nosedive right through to like shark
Yeah.
attacks. Like everything. I've
Yeah,
seen it
true,
all. So,
true.
like, it can go wrong fast. It doesn't go wrong often, but when it goes wrong, it can be really like your life's at risk. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I try and teach people just to have like a respect for the ocean, to understand it.
Yeah.
And so when they go out somewhere, like Snapper for example, they know where to paddle out, they know where to sit, they understand the etiquette,
Yeah.
you know, of who's got priority.
They know who not
'cause
to
it's
drop
busy,
it
man.
onto.
So this is the hardest place in the world to get waves. So when you're coaching people, it's
Oh.
hard. I might have like 5 people in a group and there's 200 people out. And so I can't even get myself a wave, and I'm trying to get 5 others in the zone. So yeah, it's but it's rewarding. It's kind of, I think, the teaching and surfing was me as a kid growing up, and it kind of morphed into surf coaching.
Yeah.
Teaching wasn't quite it,
Yeah.
and I was never going to be a pro surfer. I wasn't good enough, but I have enough ability as a surfer
Yeah.
and enough understanding as a teacher to merge those two.
Because when you're thinking about like one of the biggest things, obviously, of surf coaching must be like what it does for like the confidence for so many people. Like think how many people you've taught who are even scared to even get in the water for one.
Yeah.
You know, and then cut a few years down the track or whatever, some of them are out there either ripping or they're just out there every day. That's their sport now. It's what they love. That's their fulfillment. That's what they work hard for in their spare time. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the one thing I've always loved about like sport or outdoor activities and a lot of those things is the confidence thing that it can do for a lot of people. Hey,
man, like, and surfing's kind of, I don't know, it's different. It's individual.
Yeah.
You know, as you would have. I played basketball growing up. That's how I actually met you. But I played rugby, cricket, all these team sports, and they're great. But surfing is like this individual journey where everyone's on their own path. Everyone's got their own different little fare. They've all got their own little technique that they need to correct. And it's very individual, and it's a challenge, man. It's like life. You get ups and downs, and when you're surfing, man, like you get wiped out, but the very next wave could be the best wave of your life. Or vice versa, you get spat out of the best barrel of your life. You kick out, and the wave behind it just detainates you. Like the high and low is so quick, you know. Like,
so I just seen some mermaids go past. I think. So.
Oh no, Cooley Town.
Cool town, yeah. So
I've like had kids that I was coaching. I remember at the alley when I first moved here. They would have been 7 or 8 then, and they're crying. They don't want to go out. Their favourite coach isn't there. They're out the back screaming and squealing, and I'm paddling them in. And now I go out at Snapper when I'm taking some of my groups now, and those same kids are pulling into barrels behind the rock, and I'm like, remember me? Like, can you give me a wave? Like, you know, like I was that guy who taught you to surf. Do you reckon I could have the next one? But that's so cool. That's what makes me happy when I see those kids and they've got like a sticker on the nose of their board, and they surf better than me now, and I'm like, sweet. Like what I got passed down from people, like my dad or the Rowans and the Cottons and all those guys at home.
Taking a bit.
I've put that into me, and now I'm passing it on to other people, and that's the biggest thing, man. Like I get more stoked seeing like my clients get a good wave than like me. Like if they got barreled or I got barreled, I'd be way more stoked on their barrel. Like, you know, like that's the coolest thing. Like you see people kick out of a wave and they're just like mind blown at what they've, even if they've just gone straight along a wave at Snapper from Snapper to Little Marley. Yeah. And they just look so stoked, eh? And I'm like, that's the shit. That's what we're doing. Like, yeah, it's cool, man.
It's called Drink Champs.
Drink Champs,
Yeah. So if you can't decide, we'll have a little drink.
Okay, I have one first just to get ready.
Yeah, have one get ready. I think you might be having you might have to have a few drinks in this one.
All right.
Mick or Joel?
Joel.
Joel?
Parko.
Joel Parko.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us a story about Parko? Because you know Parko's.
Yeah, well, Bianca, who actually kind of gave me a job here, and I've drunkenly told her this a few times. So, hey, B. She was the one that gave me a start on the Goldie.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a job, went to B, and she was like, I'll give you as much work as you want. And I was like, sweet. And I ended up working for B for like 6 or 7 years, kind of as one of the head coaches. And that set me up on a path where I got to know a lot of really cool people. I got to go to a lot of like amazing places, like Surf Awards through B. I ended up getting a job at Surf Lakes for a while, the wave pool there, which is the one with the plunger.
Yep.
So through her and another guy that I was connected with, I was working at that pool for like 2 years. So I mean, I went to Surf Lakes like 50 times.
That's right, I know. Yeah.
So I got to surf it like for hours and hours on end, like. So yeah, without kind of her, my life I probably wouldn't have stayed on the Goldie, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Who knows what would have happened, but yeah, I was kind of never planning to stay here full time. And then through her, obviously I met Joel, and he's just, I don't know Mick, but Joel's just a really nice guy. Yeah. As a Grom growing up, like those guys, like that 3 Degrees movie, Dingo, Joel, Mick, that was all I ever watched, like on repeat. And like probably Andy, Joel, and Taj were my favourite surfers. Like, so no disrespect to Mick, but yeah. Just from my interactions with Joel, he's just down to earth, and I coached all of his kids as well at some point, and they're just a cool family, man. Yeah. B's awesome. Like without her, I wouldn't have my business. So yeah.
Beautiful, bro. Andy Irons or Kelly?
Andy.
Andy?
Yeah.
Why would you take Andy?
Probably just the attitude. Man. Yeah.
What, when he starts barking?
When he starts barking at people. I don't know. I remember watching that Blue Horizon movie back in the day. I don't know if you remember. It was him and Dave Ruster. And my dad was kind of like not really... My dad's full Kelly. And he's probably like so upset that I just chose Andy. But Andy was just raw, unpredictable. His surfing was just like so wild, man. Like
It was wild, eh?
Oh, you
I
look
see
at like
clips
sections
sometimes,
that he would hit, and you're just like, you'd be going around that and getting out of there. Like, he
you're
just
right.
like those days of like watching him and Bruce and all that crew, like in the late '90s, early 2000s DVDs back in the day.
Some of those floaters that he used to do, almost.
Mate, he was just
some of the
radical.
drops on some of them were
so
unreal, weren't they?
radical,
Very
eh?
radical.
Like, yeah. And
So
everyone
deep.
that I've ever come across who knew Andy said he was a really nice guy as well. Like, obviously, he had people have seen like probably now that's come out later on, but he had some issues. But he was a nice dude, and his surfing was mind blowing. But then Kelly's Kelly. He's the best. He is like the best competitive
All
surfer
round.
to ever live. Like, whether he's the best actual surfer of ability, but man, he was winning world titles before I was born, and he's still on tour pretty much now. And I'm 31, so like that's wild. When I was born, I was going to be either Kelly or Taylor, and I ended up getting named after Taylor Knox, who's an American surfer. So if I was a girl, I was Kelly after Kelly Slater. If I was a boy, I was Taylor after Taylor Knox.
Oh, what's that called? Kelly now?
Call me Kelly. Yeah, I'm transitioning.
Nice, bro. Mez Quinn or Ricardo Christie?
Ricardo.
Ricardo?
Yeah. Probably no real reason why. Ricardo just, I don't know, he's real powerful, cool dude, super down to, I don't know, man. I'm going off like what I've seen in person, so.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, bro.
Yeah.
Just your opinion.
I think, Ricardo, he's like super Kiwi when he does his interviews, which I love. He'd like win a heat and he'd be like, "Oh, cheer cuz," like, and like, people would give him shit because like, "Oh, the Kiwi token Kiwi," but
he lives here now, eh?
I think he does. I've seen him in the water a bit.
Seen him,
I actually know his sister, kind of like Lisa Cass. She runs like a hostelic kind of like, she does masseuse or something. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but she's a cool chick. I was coaching her daughter for a little bit down at the alley back when I was with Bianca and that, and Rick just seems kind of like a cool person, but I'm sure Maz is too. Like, don't know him, so I don't know both of them, so I can't tell you. Yeah.
Sweet, bro. We'll keep rocking because we've got about 15 of these.
Yeah.
Biggie or Puck?
I'll take a drink.
You take a drink? Whoa. Tay loves his hip hop.
Who would you choose?
I'm gonna go Puck.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, because I don't know. Some people just got it, bro. You know, some people just got the energy. His lyrics, like, all his lyrics are always clear.
Yeah.
And he always tells just an amazing story.
Yeah. I think Biggie had a better flow. His delivery was better, but Puck was kind of like a bit of a poet almost.
He is a full part.
When some of his songs were angry, aggressive, horrible, but then some of them were like, wow, like this could change the world kind of stuff.
Puck was very emotional, like with his lyrics and like some songs of his you could just put on replay. Like you could feel a certain way.
If I was to add up the hours of listening to them, I've definitely listened to more Biggie.
Yeah.
But I think they're both on par. Yeah.
Sweet, bro. Waikuku or Kaiapoi?
Waikuku. Sorry, Kaiapoi. Yeah.
Okay, Sticky Fingers or Ocean Alley?
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers?
Yeah.
You got a favourite song by them? Or?
Probably Rum Rage.
Yeah.
I think. There's like an acoustic version they do.
What's the Rascal song? Dirty Rascal? No, something Rascal. That's one of my faves.
I don't know, man. Maybe. That Rum Rage song's good. And Cyclone. Is it Cyclone? Is that the name of it?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Cyclone.
I'm so bad with names of songs. Like, even when I'm DJing.
I think it's Cyclone and Rum Rage. Sticky Fingers. There's like a couple of acoustic ones they do. Again, that lead singer seems like a bit of a unit, so I rate him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Straddy or Snapper Rocks?
Oh yeah, I can't choose. Yeah.
Have you had some?
I think I get more waves at Straddy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sit at Snapper, and if you sit for an hour and you finally get in the spot, I've probably taken off on the best waves of my life at Snapper, but then being burnt by someone.
Yeah.
So I probably like stood in like 100 barrels at Snapper and made it out of like 5, like, on a good day.
On a good day, yeah.
Whereas Straddy, there's kind of, If you're in the spot and you
Yeah.
take off, no one really burns
Yeah.
you. It's beach break. Yeah.
D-Bar or Kira?
Kira.
Kira. What's
Yeah.
go with Kira? Because you've got a bit of a connection to Kira, eh?
Well, I live in Kira.
Yeah.
I've lived there for the last 5 or 6, coming up 6 years now, on the point there. So, I don't know. I spend a lot of time in the water at Kira. Every time there's a swell, I'm out there if I can be. If I'm
Whole
not working.
town.
Yeah, the whole kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I've had some great waves at Kira over the years. It's hard to get waves when it's good, but
Yeah.
D-Bar, I find with D-Bar, I either have a really good surf or a shocker.
Just because of the crowd.
Because of the crowd and just, I don't know. I spend a lot of time in the water at Kira, so I feel like I have it like dialed when it's good. So I would choose Kira. One wave at Kira is, if you get a good one, it's like 100 waves somewhere else, eh? Like, and anyone who's had a good wave there will know that. They'll back me up. Yeah.
Nice, bro. Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd?
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
John, is he a bit of a Led Zeppelin boy? Or?
I think my old man would probably say Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, John's kind of bluesy, yeah.
He's bluesy.
He likes his rock bluesy kind of stuff, eh?
Like you're saying, Biggie and Tupac. Like when I grew up, I loved rap. I was like Eminem, Tupac, Biggie, all that 90s sort of stuff. And then my dad was like, nah, listen to the Rolling Stones, listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, listen to Eric Clapton.
Listen
like,
to the lead guitar on this.
man, I had the weirdest like stuff like going on, so I'd interchange between stuff. And as I got older, I kind of went away from like rap music and went into my dad's music and appreciated it more. Like when I was born, my dad, he handmade a surfboard and he brought me a Fender Stratocaster.
Yeah, right.
And so I think he was like, he's going to be a guitarist or a surfer. And I learnt guitar, kind of got to a point where I could like play a little bit, but I was just like, this is too hard, surfing's easy. And then my dad sold that guitar and then became a surfer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty
He
much.
sold
Yeah.
it?
He was like, this guitar is worth a lot of money. I can buy 4 of my own guitars with that. Like, yeah.
Shit.
So, yeah. Sorry, Dad.
John taking the gift back.
I can still play Smoke on the Water and all that.
That's classic.
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram. I don't even have my own Instagram. I just have my business Instagram, which is at Gold Coast Surf Experience. And as I was saying before this interview, my partner Savannah, she runs that. She's really good at doing social media. She runs a whole bunch of different companies or businesses. And so I'm real bad at it, man. I can't even like make a story. I'll post something and then she's like ringing me, you got to delete that. It's like, it's full 90s spec. Like when I had an Instagram like 10 years ago, and it was when you had like 7 filters to choose from, and that was it. And so I don't know. I still haven't. I'm not real good with technology.
Yeah.
I think I use Facebook more, but Instagram's definitely the one if you own a business or if you want to get yourself recognised.
Well, you want to do a podcast?
For a podcast or you're up and coming sports person or whatever.
Yeah.
Insta. Facebook seems to, when I post stuff on Facebook, it goes to the older generation, like my age and up. So I noticed that like all my family, like over 40, like all my Instagram stuff. Like all my Facebook stuff. But then the whole world loves your Instagram.
Yeah.
So if I was trying to get famous, man, you'd be on Instagram.
It's so hard, eh, bro? Because really deep down, like people like me and you, we really don't like social media. Really, like deep down to it.
Man, if
Because
I
it takes away from.
I didn't
this,
have, like I
doesn't
said,
it?
my missus was like, you need to make an
Yeah.
Instagram for your business, and I was like, really? Like,
Yeah.
what about word of mouth? Like,
Yeah, I know.
you know,
But word of mouth just.
Dude,
doesn't
Instagram,
cut it
she
anymore.
made an Instagram, she made a TikTok, she made
Yeah.
all this stuff, and within a week I had people ringing me for work saying, I saw your Instagram, I saw your TikTok, and I was like,
Does your
sweet.
TikTok do well?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know the password. Like, I don't think I've even looked at my TikTok. Yeah. But people ring me, oh, I saw your TikTok, and I'm like, sweet, I didn't. but then Savannah's saying, yeah, it's doing real good. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
shot
I
Sav, that's
Yeah. Good on
might
you,
be in
Sav.
for a pay rise shortly.
Yeah. Do it. Nice, bro. Kendrick or J. Cole?
J. Cole.
J. Cole, yeah.
By far.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I love J. Cole.
Definitely. I don't know. I never connected with Kendrick Lamar's music.
No,
eh?
no, like when people
No.
throw around like
People love
he's
him,
the
I
goat
don't
and
get
all
it.
this kind of stuff,
No
I'm
way.
like,
No,
I
not a
don't,
chance.
I don't get it. Like,
Nah.
I don't
it's,
see that. Like, I don't know. As it goes back to that energy thing, some people have got it. Like, you know, for example, you might go into somewhere and you look at someone and like they've got it. Like some people just got it, got the energy.
They got what? The
Like,
energy.
that aura.
The hype. Yeah.
Well, they just got it. And
when
some-
you're around them, they got that feeling.
yeah,
that
they got
electric, eh?
Yeah, and you can just tell. And when you see it with like
Yeah.
a really gifted, I don't know, a rapper or a sports star or whoever they are.
Yeah. Do you get that when you meet people on the Goldie? Like I was saying earlier,
yeah.
like people like at home we didn't have celebrities or people of well known around us. When you meet someone like a pro surfer or something, they're just
different.
I don't know if they actually don't have it, but as a person, you feel it from them.
You
like,
definitely do feel it.
Up at Surf Lakes, and I met a lot of people. But we were hanging out with like Chris Hemsworth and stuff, and like they get like 5 feet from you, and you're just like gobsmacked, day. But they're just then I watched
Cody's
him.
cousin.
Yeah, Cody Hemsworth. But I remember like hanging around them, and I was just like watching him tell his kids off in the corner for like doing naughty stuff, and I was like, man, he's just another dude, eh? Like,
Sweet, bro. Bolter or Stonewood?
Bolter.
Bolter?
I've had so many hangovers from Bolter. Eh?
Yeah, true. Bolter, I can only drink probably 3 or 4 beers, man, and then you're like, you could never like drink a lot of Bolter.
When we first lived at the Hill Apartments in Currumbin, every Thursday night, without failure for about a 6 or 8 month period, we went to Bolter every Thursday because it was $5 cans.
Yeah, true.
And every Friday I was ringing in to B going, I'm sick today, I got early COVID. But I would go Bolter, the XPA. I actually remember one year Bianca got me a big box of XPAs for my birthday. And XPA Bolter, that is the best one. Yeah. Stone and Wood, still good, but it's not Bolter. Yeah.
True. Obama or Trump?
Trump, I think, hey.
Trump.
Yeah.
Trump, yeah, I'm Trump too.
I mean, I'm not against Trump at all. Like,
hey, I want to make America great again too.
Yeah. I don't want to make myself sound dumb, so I don't know much about politics, man. Like, I don't know anything, hey. But
none of us do.
Like, everyone gets this hype around him, eh? But I think when you look at what he's done, it's not. When he was in power last time, it was like kind of the world was kind of at peace for a little bit, eh? Like.
Well, he's a business dude.
He'd be interesting to sit down like this and have a podcast and talk to.
Yeah.
And like get inside of his brain to say what is going on, man. Like.
Well, I tell you what I have liked of him is that he's got a few people on his team, and like Elon Musk is on his team. He's got not Rogan, or he has kind of got Rogan in support, but Dana White.
They're all a little bit.
Dana White.
They're all kind of weird dudes, though. Eh?
Oh, they're all out there, but they're all kind of business savvy dudes.
They are, and they've got all these followers. But I think it's more about their followings, right? Like they project out to so many people.
But one thing
business people, they project out to people.
One of the guys he's got is the Kennedy Jr. Have you heard
Robert.
about that guy?
Yeah,
and he's all about trying to cut out all the crap in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
He's going after all the pharmaceuticals. He's he's wanting to change that whole way that it works.
That the world.
He wants to re-educate the food.
They're not going to do that. I think it's
I think that small steps.
Yeah.
You know, like because when you realise, like McDonald's and a lot of these other, takeaway franchises. I mean, it's just toxic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like it's
we all
just
get suckered into it now and then.
And then what's in a lot of the food, like a lot of the hidden things that are in the foods that have been.
Even the stuff that's good for you these days, though, I think is still probably too much of anything's not good. But a lot of stuff that we're eating these days, even when it says it's good, if you read it down further, the words we can't read are probably bad for you. Like you can go down a rabbit hole of that. But, politics. I don't. Man, I've never followed it. I've never understood it. And I don't really care for it. I've never voted in my life, and not because I don't want to. I've never had an opportunity.
Yeah.
I was 17 when I could vote in New Zealand. The next time I could vote, I was in Ireland. I didn't follow it, so I was like, I feel like I shouldn't vote because I don't know what's going on, and I'm not an Australian citizen, so I can't vote here, and I don't know what's going on at home. So I've never voted once in my life, and I don't even know who I'd vote for if I did, because I don't know what they do. So I think they're all as bad as each other, man. They're all bad. Like, they're not here to help us.
Kind of feels like
they're all there to help themselves, man. Like,
It's a touchy subject, eh?
It is. You can go on forever, but they're all bad as each other.
Yeah. We'll start sounding like conspiracy theorists otherwise.
Yeah, which I love, man. Let's start talking about conspiracies. Yeah.
We'll leave COVID for another day.
It could be a 10-hour podcast of Tay John ranting.
Okay, bro, keep moving. Just a couple more.
Yeah.
Jay-Z or Eminem?
Eminem? Yeah. Easy. Eminem over everything.
Yeah.
Nearly over surfing. Nah. He's the man.
What's your favourite song by Eminem?
Far out.
There's been a few,
I don't know if I'd have a favourite song, but if I had a favourite album, it would probably be the Slim Shady LP or the Eminem Show. But I also, there's an album he made like when he first kind of came back from like his drug relapse thing, and the album's called Relapse.
Oh yeah, I know.
And,
I've listened to it all. Yeah.
It kind of got real bad reviews, and people kind of don't even know it exists. But man, I listen to that album like every day at some point, and I think it's brilliant. It's when we had all the accents going on.
Yeah.
But man, if you like actually take away that and listen to the lyrics, it's like unbelievable.
The guy is a complete freak. Like,
And he made an album recently,
yeah.
The Death of Slim Shady, and he's like 51. He's going to be a granddad soon, and he's like he's still the best rapper in the world. And I don't think he is the Kelly Slater of rap. Like, there will not be another Eminem.
No.
Like that's just how it is.
His vocabulary is ridiculous.
Yeah,
eh?
it's
like,
bonkers.
the crap that he came up
Yeah.
with, especially in the early
Bonkers.
days.
Yeah, it's so dark and so horrible, some of it, but you can only look at it and go, wow, it's also so incredibly intelligent. Like,
But then again, it's like, it's the old thing, was it? But bad publicity is good publicity.
well, it is, man.
Like the classic, who was that, Dr. Dre, Schrader, Cobden, what was their group?
Yeah.
What was their group back in the NWA?
Oh, NWA, yeah.
That was their classical, bad
Dude,
publicity is good
if you're a
publicity.
celebrity and things are kind of cooled off for a bit, you'd just go do something wild, wouldn't you? You go crash your car, or because you can pay for it to get fixed, like, and you'd be, oh, I'm back in the news. This is good. All of a sudden your name gets all these hits again.
couple more to go, bro.
Couple more.
McCaw or Carter?
McCaw or Carter? Probably Dan Carter. Oh, yeah, Dan Carter. Yeah, Dan Carter.
Yeah, if you're gonna go skill wise, you'd have to go Carter, because like when you think about it, first five is the most important position in rugby. Like you've got to have like a legend like first five. Yeah. If you don't, like you see it with the All Blacks at the moment, we haven't really got.
Nah, we're kind of chopping and changing it. We're trying to, I think Ray's is trying to like who's the man.
For example, if you had a Carter at first five, like if Dan Carter is prime right now, still playing with the All Blacks. Yeah. I go into will be the best in the world still.
Yeah. Carter, I mean, I feel like that was just like there was like a 10-year, not even 8-year period where the All Blacks were like untouchable, like maybe 2009 to like 2017.
Yeah.
Where we were just like, you almost stopped watching the All Blacks because it was like they're gonna win.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're playing Ireland, they'll win. They'll play this. I used to live in Ireland when we were versing the Irish, and they're like, this year's gonna be our year, and I was like, we're gonna flog you. Yeah. And I'd go down to the pub with my All Blacks jersey on, we'd smoke them, and I'd just be like. In the end, I just stopped going down and watching games because we just knew that. But then we started losing to Ireland and Argentina and Australia and stuff, and it was like, I don't know, we're just going for a little generational shift, I think, in our rugby.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the world's caught up. It's like, it's all it's all sport. Yeah. It's like in all competition, all business, everyone catches up.
Eventually everyone catches up, but the All Blacks are good. I think we're just going through a little shift of like generations, man. Like, and yeah, that's just how it is. I think we're a good team still.
Okay, bro, you've kind of already answered this, I think, before, but top 3 surf spots you've ever surfed?
I would say top 3 surf spots I have ever surfed. One would be...
And it could even be like a place that was like just the day that was just the best.
I was there.
It might not be actually the best in the world, but it might be like the best day, or it could be the best spot.
Yeah, I don't think you can go past like a good wave, like I said earlier, at Kira. Like... There's something special about that. Like in my house, you pretty much see it from the beach. And as a kid, I would watch videos of Kira. I come home from school and watch Parker, Joel, Mick, like all those guys, Slater getting barreled at Kira, and just think, oh my god, like does that exist? Because I was just surfing 1 foot onshore Pines Beach all day. Like, and is that actually real? Like, is that AI? Like, so when you get one wave out there, that's special. So Kira's probably one wave that I'm like, that's pretty cool. Another wave that I really enjoy is Angary Point down in Yamba. I don't know, I've always said to my partner, she grew up down there, I'm like, for some reason I just kind of like love that wave. Don't know why, it's probably not one of the best waves in the world, but it's just something about it. And then one of the best waves I've ever surfed, I surfed Pipeline with my dad sitting on the beach, so that was pretty cool. He made me go out, actually. I was like, I don't want to go out, and he was like, oh man, you come all the way here, you have to go out. And I was like, all right. And then he was like, yeah, and then he just sat on the beach. I was like, are you coming out? And he's like, no.
I was going to, I really want to stitch you up.
Yeah,
I was going to
so,
say, was he actually going to go out?
No, he was like, yeah, pipeline, man, we have to go out. And I was like, sweet. And I went back to the car, got changed, and I came down, and he's just like arms crossed on the beach, like, well, you're in your wetsuit now, or boardies, you got to go out. And I was like, fuck. So probably they were three waves that I really like: Kira and Gary, pipeline. But there's waves at home. Some of those river mouths, when they go off,
Hurunui?
they are, the Hurunui, like other rivers that just, there'll be 4 guys out, and it's just as good as anywhere, eh? But it's 5 times a year, eh? Yeah. There's so many waves, man, on the planet that I've surfed and that don't even come to my mind. If you're ever going to do a surf trip, Ireland, it's amazing. There's some good waves there.
Okay, bro, last one before we're going to talk about the business stuff, just to finish off.
Yeah.
So who's your top 3 surfers of all time? Your favourite 3 surfers of all time?
One would be...
They don't have to necessarily be the best. Like,
the best,
just your favourite.
Not in order. Not in any order. One would be Taj Burrow.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
When I was like 10 years old, my cousin, I think she was in Perth or she was in Australia somewhere, and she brought back a signed book of Taj Burrow's Hot Book of Surfing. And this is like 2001, 2002 maybe. And it had like, it was a book, and you opened it and it started from like how to like put your wetsuit on, right through to like how to do like a 360 reverse, basically, e-reverse. And I read that book from start to finish like 400 times every night in my room. And so I think Taj, and he was the first guy like I saw on DVDs doing crazy ears where I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Like, yeah.
And we're talking in what?
Late 90s, 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And how that guy didn't win a world title, I don't know. Like
Kelly Slater, wasn't it?
Kelly probably stole a few of his titles.
Because he came second once.
He came second
third,
so
maybe,
many times.
Second, third.
I think if there was no Kelly, no Andy, Taj would have won a world title.
Yeah, I think he would have got one in there, right?
But,
sure, I think you're right.
Yeah, Taj was definitely, for sure, the one I remember reading that book every night. Andy, just for the like competitive rawness of like his surfing was just like incredible, man. Like for younger people who haven't watched Andy surfing, go and watch it because it's still relevant today.
You know what I love is often you go to a few bars around here or pubs, Four Pines, wherever, or somewhere they're playing. Often there'll be an Andy video on in the background. Like so many surf shops and little places around.
I think
so cool.
he's probably been gone now 10 or no longer, 12, 13, 14 years that he passed away. And his surfing, if you put him on tour, it's still relevant. Like, it's incredible surfing. And,
hey, sorry, mate, in front of the branding, you know.
Oh shit!
No, you're right. I'm joking.
Sorry, Gage Rose.
No, I'm joking. Okay, and who's your third?
Third surfer. If I had to pick another surfer, who I say Andy and Taj. My third one would probably be, I like Mason Ho.
Oh yeah.
He's fun. He looks fun. He's the kind of guy I can call to go out for a beer with. And he just looks fun. Yeah. His surfing, again, I like kind of that unpredictable kind of surfing.
Comes from the Legend family too, isn't it?
Yeah, like Derek Ho, Michael Ho. That's like my dad's generation.
Is one of them his dad or uncle or something?
I think Michael Ho is his dad.
Oh yeah.
And I think Derek was his uncle who passed away recently.
Yeah.
And they were like kind of early pipe pioneers, which my dad made me watch them. Tom Carroll, Tom Curran, like. But yeah, I'd say Andy, Taj, Mason Ho are 3 surfers that I think people should watch. Yeah.
Sweet, bro. Oh man, just wanna you've got one thing coming up, so you've got a trip coming up with your Gold Coast surf experience overseas.
Yes. Yep.
Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Where they can find information about it, what's involved. Yeah, to kind of finish off.
So from April the 26th to the 3rd of May next year, 2025, I'm running a surf camp in North Sumatra in Simeulue. It's kind of based at intermediate level surfers, so people that can obviously paddle out in waves of sort of 3 foot head high and able to trim along the face and looking to take their surfing to the next level and develop their technique.
So not for beginner or could
not beginner. Like if you're getting pushed into whitewash, then it's probably not for you.
Okay.
So people that have gone through surf lessons and now have their own equipment, they're on a fiberglass board, and they're at that level where they're going along and they're getting out the back, but it's just not coming together, and they want to get their technique up to scratch. They want to get more confidence. I've also got a chick, Madison Jordan, who's at Salty Surf, who's from Kingscliff, and she's running yoga while we're there too. So there'll be surfing, there'll be yoga. We've got access to like forward drives on the island, to the boats on the island. A bunch of local guides that live there permanently. And so basically, if you want to see what's going on there, go to our Instagram, go to my website, which is www.goldcoastsurfexperience.com or at goldcoastsurfexperience.com. We're running that in April next year. There's very likely going to be another one in July or August, and there's very likely going to be another one in New Zealand next year too.
Make sure you bring a 4-3 wetsuit for that one.
Bring your best wetsuit and your booties. And
your kidney belt.
Kidney belt, beanie. But I'm looking at doing that too, which will be like a surf snow trip. So like so many Aussies that you will know too are like, I've never been to New Zealand and it's right there. Like, so that'll be a very affordable trip. That'll be very cool as well. Yeah.
Sweet, bro. I think we'll end it there, man.
Sweet.
Appreciate it, Tay.
Cool.
Bro, that was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Cool, bro.
And have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year. See you in the water. We're very lucky to live where we do, man. We started out in Waikuku and now we're sitting at Snapper having a beer, doing a podcast.
Not bad.
And we're both getting by in a very hard climate in the world right now. So
Can't complain.
Thanks to everyone that has supported me as well. Like, I've had a business going for a year and I feel very lucky to be able to like do what I love as a job. So everyone that's given me an opportunity, thank you. And everyone that supports me, thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful, bro.